Hi, my name is Jim Shirley, and in today's video I'd like to talk with you about how to build your author platform. There's really a bit of a trick to this, and so follow along as I talk more about it. I think you'll find that you have something really good to learn today. So, how do we build an author platform? Well, there's a couple of different ways we can do it. And if you've watched my video on what author platform is, then you already kind of have an idea of how I approach this concept of author platform. It's really having a group of people that are your fans that you can communicate directly with. And that means you can email them directly, like you have their email address in an email list. It may mean that they're fans of your Facebook page, or it may mean that you're in their circle and you have them in a circle in Google+. So those are a couple of different ways. They may be your follower on Twitter. That's another option. So let's kind of look through some of these different ways here. A website or a blog is a place where you could build your platform from, and that I would say is probably the most most commonly thought of as well when you talk about author platform. It's my preferred way of doing it, but I like setting up websites and writing articles and that sort of thing. I also note here on the presentation, it could be your website, but you could also do this as a guest writer on someone else's blog. And a lot of people have done that. One of the things that you're allowed to do very often, especially once you've sort of established a bit of a relationship with whose ever website it is that you write for, is you get a little thing called an author box, which at the end of your post or article, whatever it is that you've written, you get to write a little blurb at the bottom that says what you do, who you are, and what you do. And you can leave a link to a Facebook page or a Google Plus page or your own website. So that's certainly a good way to go about it. Excuse me. Other ways that you could build your platform are through social media, like Facebook. And there I would recommend having your own fan page versus your personal Facebook account. Fan pages are free, and you just have to go in, and as an author, for example, you can go in and create a new Facebook page for a book, whether you've written it yet or not. It can be a concept book that's not published yet. On Twitter, you can go with your own handle or create one that's related to your book. Again, given that this is author platform, and like I talked about in the previous author platform video, I really encourage authors to build their own brand based on their name or their pen name versus at the book level. So when you think about setting up your presence on Facebook or Twitter or Google+, doing these as sort of an author or as part of a broader book series is a good way to go versus doing it at the individual book level. Just gives you less to manage, and it allows you to build a bigger platform more quickly with more sort of cohesiveness. And then another way to build your platform is through a local writers club or book club. So if being online is really not for you, then joining a local group like a meetup or a writers club that you can find in the local newspaper could be a great way to go. And it's still perfectly possible for you to get these people's contact information, for example, so that when you have a book that's ready to launch or be introduced to the world, you can still even write a letter to your friends in the book club to let them know to go look at your book and leave you a review and that kind of thing. So those are just some ideas on how to build your platform. The last thing that I would say here is that If you're not already using a lot of these media and you're not writing blog posts and stuff like that frequently, it can be quite overwhelming to go and get all of these things to build your author platform. And I don't recommend that. Frankly, I would recommend picking one. Pick Facebook, or make your own website, or pick Google+. Pick one, go with it, and make that your focus as the place that you're going to build your platform. Let's go on to the next slide. So I prefer a website, like I mentioned, and that's just because I like the fact that it persists out there, and it's I've got a hosting account, and my website's out there, and every article I write or video I produce or whatever, I can put that on the website, and it just sits out there. Whether Google likes it and sends me tons of traffic, or whether anybody ever finds my website or not through a search engine, doesn't matter. For me, it matters that I can Google myself and find the website, for example. And I kind of like that. And the other thing I like is that I control my own content, and I own it. And the only reason I bring this up is that if you go ahead and start a fan page with Facebook, for example, and you start writing longer posts on your fan page, article type posts, that's certainly your content that you've written, but it's really on a Facebook page. And this may be a little hard to understand. I don't want to get complicated technically here, but all of the stuff on Facebook or Twitter or Google Plus is really owned on that platform. So Facebook can decide, and they have before, that your fan page violates some policy or makes someone upset, and they can take your page away, and all that stuff that you wrote is gone. I don't want to scare you, because I don't think that happens on a regular basis, but one thing I do know is that all of these social media kind of change the way that you interact with people and how people see what you've written and the pictures you've taken and that sort of thing. And every time they make those changes, it can be a little harder for people to sort of keep track of you. And for me, a website is great because, there are changes going on with how websites appear in search engines like Google. But at the end of the day, I've got my own address, and my website's right there. And as long as I'm paying for hosting, everything I produce in terms of articles and videos and stuff is going to be right there for people to find. So lastly, I'm also kind of getting started making a Google Plus presence. So it's very small right now, but it seems interesting to me. So now, as it relates to author platform, building this group of followers means that you must get their contact information. So for me, through my website, that means asking for people to join my newsletter, to join my email list. And that means I have, through my email marketing service, which I use, Aweber, whoever decides to join me, I have their email address. And so whenever I want, I can send them an email. Now, at any time, they can choose to unsubscribe, and so they have complete freedom there. But this means I've got their contact information. I'm building a further relationship that's more meaningful and more special with the people who join that newsletter. I give them something extra, and I really want them to stay members of that list, and so they form my platform. So when I launch my next book, I can let them know about it, and I hope that they're engaged in it, and I hope that they have a say in how the book looks and the chapters in the book and what I write about. So that's kind of that community that I'm trying to help you form and understand. Let's see. So, the last thing I wanted to talk about as it relates to this author platform and getting those fans and getting their contact information, in my case, I go for the email address, is to focus your marketing efforts on getting people to, in my case, it's join my email list, but it could be whatever it is that you choose. If it's a local book club, maybe you're just trying to get their physical mailing address so you can send them a letter. But you want to focus your marketing efforts on that single thing, and that doesn't mean hard selling people to join your email list. Doesn't mean that you withhold all your information from the people who decide not to join your list or join your fan page or that sort of thing. It just means that, or at least when I'm talking about it here, it just means when you write an article or you make a video or you make an audio podcast or whatever it is you choose to do, at the end of it or in the middle, when you ask somebody to join your newsletter or to join your email list, that you focus on that as the single action. And the reason I bring this up is because I read articles, and maybe you see them too. I read articles all the time where people are asking me to share the article on Facebook. They want me to sign up for their email newsletter. They want me to become friends with them on Google+. It's kind of confusing, and so what often ends up happening is I don't take any of the actions they want me to take. I don't know which one to choose. And so the way that you can really get people to join your list is by just asking them to do a single thing and making a decision in your marketing efforts as to what that's going to be. So if you write articles and you're building your author platform using Facebook fan pages, then ask people to like your fan page when they read your article. That's it. Don't ask them to join an email list and like your fan page. Focus on one thing. For me on my website, it's join my newsletter. It's join my list. And that's it. I don't ask them to like or tweet my article or anything else. It's just a simple join the newsletter. So that's all I have, in terms of the focus. And those are the things that, from a high level, really help you build that author platform. So, just to review, it's choosing the venue that you're going to use to sort of communicate or market to the world, if you will. So, like write articles on your subject, tell people about the characters in your new science fiction novel, whatever it is. And then from there, choose how you'd like to build your author fan base. So if Facebook is your chosen method or a website, whatever, maybe you want to have people subscribe to an email newsletter, which, by the way, is perfectly possible through Facebook too. And then, lastly, focus whenever you're writing your articles or sharing whatever it is that you share on your website or Facebook page, asking people, getting focused, asking people to join your newsletter if that's the thing that you choose, or to like your fan page, whatever it is. So I hope you've gotten something good out of this, and I really appreciate your joining me. Thanks. Tune in for more great self-publishing information in the next video.